Hello, today you find us in the Cotswolds in England and we're visiting a shepherd's hut, which basically it's a tiny house. So let's go inside and have a look what we've got. Okay, so what do we have here? This shepherd's hut is like the perfect retreat for a quiet from cars weekend. You have to replace the cars with horse sounds and birds and quacks and other stuff, but it is the perfect retreat to basically just get away from it all. I love the amount of character that this house has. It goes from this almost pure white to then ever so slightly dating it and then properly scratching the paint off to get this nice outdated rustic look, and it really works, and then it goes back down to almost completely smooth and modern. It's a very good contrast between, you know, the old and the new, and then just clashing together in a good way. This tiny house has a relatively small kitchen in comparison to a normal house, but actually there's a lot of counter space when it's clear. That nice drying space for when you're done, and actually a lot of cutting space that you can use here. And look at these are just amazing. Look at, that's a cutting board. I want a few of these. Lovely. And they etched them. Also, the sink is actually quite big for a tiny space, and I love big sinks. No matter if you live in a car or a van or a normal house, a mansion, a big sink, it is essential, because I don't know, I think we've mentioned this a bunch of times already on this channel, but we don't like doing the dishes the exact same moment that we get them dirty. And if you have a small sink, you have nowhere to put them and the whole space looks messy. So here you can basically hide the damage for a moment. Obviously this tiny house has not been designed to move because the plates and boards and stuff like that are not secured for a moving vehicle, as they will roll out, but they are very well arranged. It is aesthetically pleasing and they don't take up an excessive amount of space, so I really dig this. And it's so rustic, like you can tell that is just sticks from the outside. Really, it's great.
So this shepherd's hut is built on land on a 60-acre farm, and the people who've built it, they run their own business. They run like a disabled horse riding association. So there's, I think, 35 or 40 horses and ponies surrounding us within this field and all the other fields adjacent, and they're just roaming around. So you can go up, you can stroke them, say hi and such, and it's a very nice atmosphere, and it fits the entire build very well. Sticking with the rustic theme, there's not a lot of modern technology in here. There's a few pots and pans. We've got a toaster and a kettle. There's an induction hob over in here as well if we did want to cook something that runs on electricity. And of course, no house would be complete without a tiny little mini fridge, of which you can pretty much fit a day or two's worth of food in there. I can also tell you that the insulation in this place must be amazing, because currently outside it is pretty chilly. You need a jacket, but inside we're boiling in just a t-shirt. Speaking of the heating, it's basically just two simple little radiators seemingly plugged into the wall, and you can just activate them when you need to. I don't know whether we'll be using them tonight. We'll see. Under the bed there's basically just all of the space underneath is all storage. There's nothing separating, no units, no other hatches. It's just push it under, so perfect for like extra bedding, clothes, whatever. Overall, there's plenty of space enough for what you're going to bring here and what you need to stay in here. The electrics, as far as we can tell, there is one light above us and one light above the bed. It's not off-grid, there's no solar panels, there's no wind generation, it's just connected into the grid, but like I said, plenty of plugs for anything that you need. I would say more than enough plugs.
So what do you think about the space in comparison to what we're going to have in the van?
Well, from measuring it, it's slightly wider, so it feels more like, excuse me, it feels more like a bus or a wagon or something that's pulled rather than an independent unit that can be, you know, transported around. I definitely feel like there's more headroom in here. There's not like the toilet and the shower in here, that's in a separate cubicle. So there is a bit more space to walk around. Definitely feels wider. It feels like there is more space edge to edge.
There's a lot of good things about the shepherd's hut. I mean, we're touring these tiny spaces and unique builds to basically get more of a feel of how it is to live in them. What is it like to move in the space, and what's good about a build, what's not so good about a build. If you don't know, we're building a van. We're converting a panel van, and we're currently designing it. We're gonna be designing our van to be a long-term home. So it's a long-term solution. So we need to be able to, first of all, move it. So this tiny house is not movable, but that's just because of what it's being used for. It's being used as an Airbnb. That if you do want to stay here, the link is down in the description. So please do check it out, because it is an incredible place to stay.
Especially if you love horses.
Yes, and chickens and ducks and all the other stuff. So stuff that quack and blob and
quack and moo and bar and whatever else.
Yeah, so we're in that sort of area of the country. So we're going to be building our van, obviously, to be very agile and to be able to move it around left, right and centre.
Yeah. So although this is not a perfect example of like exactly what we want in terms of movability, obviously everything inside is not secured down, the rustic and simplistic feeling that it has really helps with like the mental psyche and the ability to have a calm space. If something is cluttered, it's got a lot of stuff, it's all in your face and everything. Meanwhile, this one is just kind of pushed back, it's simple and it's easy to understand.
Yeah, really one of the best things about the space, like you said, it's a tiny space, but it feels open and it feels wide, and like there's a kitchen and a bed. It doesn't have the toilet there, which, to be honest, I don't think that putting the toilet block in there would be that much of a problem. It wouldn't really take away that much from the space. What I really like to take away from this is the color, kind of like the color scheme. I love the use of the white, but as I said earlier, I love how it mixes in with a little bit of rustic, like a little bit chaos there in the white, which is just enough to basically make it not like a quarantine hospital room white. The space has a lot of storage. As I mentioned earlier, I love the big sink. I'm like 100% convinced that we need the big sink in our van.
I think the thing that I would change if I were to put something else extra in it is I would give it a skylight. It's got 2 windows on the outside, but I think having a skylight above, especially since the ceiling is already quite tall, so it does feel quite a tall, unconfining.
I would extend it further with the skylight.
Yeah, definitely I would put a skylight in. And again, for us, I think just because we're more of personal, we love cooking. I mean, this is definitely not a, stay at home 24/7 use for cooking and proper cooking and food storage, but it can do the basic stuff. But obviously for us, we're going to have a lot more. But this is not designed to do that.
I would add an extendable counter, because I said there is quite a bit of counter space. But actually thinking about it, when you have things drying onto the mat, then you have no counter space. So
you need somewhere to cook
personally,
more stuff.
I would add an extendable counter to make it a bit more like a counter kitchen, or extended by the window. Actually, I really love the outdoor space here as well. So we really want to have a way to have our own personal outdoor space with our van. So we're thinking about how to get a deck in our van, so kind of a pull-out deck. So maybe we can kind of have this sort of feel out. So basically we're in our van, and then what we just extend the deck out,
and
throw a chair out and have a seat, but we're still technically not on a road or something, that we're still in our van. But outside their van.
If you have a tiny alternate home that you want us to come and look around, or if you know anywhere that you've stayed that you think would really suit this style, then please let us know. There's an email down in the description below. So
subscribe for more of these tours and our actual van build, which is approaching like hurtling really fast.
Very soon.